I'm tired of hearing you praise this terrible show. You keep refusing to talk about the horrible episodes this show put out.
Fine, if you can name 5 genuinely bad episodes of Ed, Edd, and Eddy, then I'll call this one of the worst shows ever. But those episodes have to be bad.
Oh, I'm so glad you said that, because I do have a terrible episode for you. In fact, it's probably one of the worst episodes this show ever made. Fix your eyes on this terrible episode.
Wait, what? Smile for the Ed?
You're trembling. Don't blame you. This is the crowning achievement of bad from this show. Oh, what's wrong? Did your mind just collapse because you just realized you gotta try to explain to me how this isn't a bad episode?
Not exactly. I don't remember this episode.
What?
I don't remember it. I mean, refresh my memory. What's it about?
You seriously don't remember this? The episode where Eddy needs to take a good picture to get his brother's room and Kevin keeps fucking it up like the shitty-ass character he's always been?
Well, it sounds like something I remember, but I honest to God don't. Weird.
Alright, fine. Well then you should have no problems explaining to me how this isn't the worst episode of the entire series.
Worse than If It Smells Like an Ed. Huh, I doubt that.
Jem, this episode is what would happen if you put Sorry Wrong Ed, If It Smells Like an Ed, and Your Ed Here in a blender. It's that bad.
Is that a fact? Alright, let's take a look at it. So the episode opens up with all the kids getting ready to have their picture taken for school picture day. Well, I must say I'm already feeling uneasy.
Ah, you're starting to remember this episode, aren't you?
No, I just hated school picture day. I wasn't exactly the best looking guy in high school.
You're not exactly the best looking guy today.
You look just like me.
Yeah, but I'm a girl. This look fits a girl more.
I really fucking hate you. Anyway, Eddy explains to his friends that he needs to take a good picture so his mom will give him the key to his brother's room. And when Eddy gets all ready for his picture, this happens.
Dork.
And that ruins Eddy's picture.
Surely it's not that bad, Eddy. Isn't your mother farsighted?
Alright, problem number 1. Kevin had no reason to do that. Like, at all. I mean, yeah, he calls them dorks all the time, but usually they actually do something to warrant that. The fact that he waited for Eddy to get ready to do that means he deliberately ruined Eddy's picture.
Reminds you of another episode, doesn't it? Another terrible episode?
Yes, it does. It reminds me of Your Ed Here, another episode where Kevin tortures Eddy for absolutely no reason other than Eddy dropped his wallet. Yeah, that's already a bad sign. Anyway, problem number 2. Why the hell does Eddy make a face like that? I mean, first of all, if you're gonna make Eddy take a bad picture, you basically had your opportunity to have him make a face like that when he was turning around. I mean, that pose looks exactly like a pose you'd make if you were turning to face the camera, and clearly weren't ready to have your picture taken. Here, I can read it right now to do that.
I can't give this to my mom! I look like I'm getting my temperature taken!
But clearly they didn't take his picture till after Kevin called him a dork, so why the fuck would Eddy make that face from being called a dork? At this point, wouldn't being called a dork not even bother him anymore? Hell, Kevin said that so frequently in the first season that it seemed to stop bothering them after a while. This scene right here was nothing but them trying to establish Kevin as the main antagonist of the episode, and it's something they honestly didn't even have to do. It would have been much easier and much more relatable to have Eddy just be incapable of taking a good picture, or constantly jacking up his own picture without outside help. How often have people looked back in disgust of pictures they've taken that come out bad, just because they didn't know how to take a good picture? That would have been so much more relatable and even maybe a bit funnier than this.
Dork.
Damn, this is actually an impressively bad opening scene.
Oh, trust me, that was the least bad scene in the whole episode.
Alright, now you're just trying to freak me out. Eddie decides to retake the picture, but Kevin ends up getting a hold of the original picture.
Get a load of prune face. Rock has seen prunier.
Oh, this can't be good.
Oh, it's not gonna be. Believe me, Jem, you're in for a world of hurt. Here, I'll even help you. Kevin ends up doing exactly what you would expect and posts copies of the picture all around school so everyone can make fun of Eddy.
Finally, some Ed Boys merchandise.
If that ain't a fashion statement, I don't know what is.
Say something funny about my binder, Kev.
Oh, what the hell, man? Screw you, Kevin.
I know! Kevin's basically that bitchy cheerleader in high school who's so insecure she has to break others down. Ugh, what a bitch. Kevin's such a terrible character. What a pathetic excuse.
The bitchy cheerleader sent embarrassing photos of you around your school, didn't she?
Shut up! I don't want to talk about it.
Oh, that's who you were! You were the Jem that looked like a 40-year-old lady! Now I see why you call yourself Anti-Jem.
Shut up! You're a boy with a diamond for a head. You make so much sense, because boys are known for loving diamonds.
Oh, I'm gonna destroy you. Anyway, after roughly 2 full fucking minutes of Eddy suffering undeserved and downright infuriating embarrassment, the Edds try to destroy all the copies of Eddy's picture. And then, while on their way to take Eddy's new picture, oh my god.
It's a nightmare, I tell ya!
Yeah, let's just keep it going. Good God, this is way worse than your Ed here was. At least that episode saved all the infuriation for the end.
Just wait, Jem. You'll be saying it's the worst episode ever in no time.
Actually, Anti-Jem, after seeing all of this, I'm starting to think I might have seen this episode once. I just don't remember it.
Yeah, you probably blocked it out because it was so bad.
I doubt it. More than likely it's because it wasn't even worth remembering. Not like If It Smells Like an Ed, which at least perfectly captured how you don't make a good cartoon episode.
Come on, Jem. You really don't see any similarities between this, If It Smells Like an Ed, and Sorry Wrong Ed?
No, not really.
What is it you hated the most about If It Smells Like an Ed and Sorry Wrong Ed?
Well, plain and simple. Sorry Wrong Ed tortured Eddy for no reason other than not being able to fully understand Rolf's cryptic-ass warning that even Double D himself couldn't understand, and Double D was acting like a complete jackass the whole episode. Like, the worst type of jackass he's ever been. And If It Smells Like an Ed punished 2 of the Eds for something Eddy did, and the neighborhood kids are portrayed as moronic asshole. Oh, I see now. The characters are being portrayed as assholes just like in If It Smells Like an Ed and Sorry Wrong Ed.
That's not what I was referring to, Jem. This episode is torturing Eddy for absolutely no reason. Just like If It Smells Like an Ed did Double D and Ed, and Sorry Wrong Ed did to Eddy. None of them did anything wrong in those episodes, yet they were treated like they had murdered the Pope. Have you not noticed that Eddy is being punished for nothing more than wanting a nice photograph?
A perfect picture? And no more baby brother Eddy!
Oh my god! You're right! All he wanted to do was take a good picture so he could get the key to his brother's room. Wait, is that why they're torturing Eddy? He wants to take a good picture so he'll get his brother's room? Are they implying he's being selfish or something? There's absolutely nothing wrong with wanting an unused room. It's not like Eddy's trying to get his brother kicked out or something. His brother is no longer living in that room. It's free for the taking. And Eddy has every right to try and get it. Holy shit, that might actually be worse than the reasons the Eds got punished in Sorry Wrong Ed and If It Smells Like an Ed.
Ha! I knew I'd get you to admit it was worse than If It Smells Like an Ed.
Hey, hold on, I haven't admitted that just yet. I just said the reasons for Eddy's suffering are worse in this episode than those other episodes. We're not done with this episode just yet, so let's see how I'm feeling about it after we're done talking about it.
Oh, I'm not worried, Jem. Trust me. Checkmate's coming soon.
Yeah. Anyway, Double D impersonates the principal and gets the kids to give all the copies of Eddy's photo back. Alright, good start. That was painful, but thankfully it's over. Now all this episode has to do is let Eddy take his photo the right way, get that key he deserves at this point, and end this episode on a happy no. It's not gonna happen, is it?
Nope. Double D only has one picture left on the camera, and when Eddy poses to take his picture, as you said, the right way, Kevin does this.
3!
Oh my fucking god, are you kidding me?
But wait, there's more. Eddy ends up getting blamed for Double D impersonating the principal and gets a week's worth of detention and has to clean up all the photocopies that Kevin made.
What? No, you're bluffing. There's no way that happens. They would not be that stupid.
Oh no?
2 hours of stinking cleanup, plus a week's worth of detention for impersonating the principal. I don't even remember doing that!
So let me get this straight. This whole episode is about Eddy just wanting to take a nice photo so he can get an unused room in his house. And Kevin messes it up for no reason, makes tons of copies of this photo to embarrass Eddy, and for the cul-de-sac kids to make fun of him with. The Edds try to help him, only for Kevin to foil their attempts again, and in the end, Eddy is the one who gets punished for everything that happened in this episode. Wait. Oh my god.
Terrible, isn't it?
Oh my god.
Worst cartoon episode ever made, huh?
Oh my god.
Alright, now you're just trying to annoy me.
Oh my god, I have seen this episode. And you were right. I did block it out. This was the first time a cartoon episode ever put me into therapy.
Wait, I thought your top 10 worst SpongeBob episodes list put you into therapy.
So did I. I forgot. I saw this episode when I was really young, and it scarred me. It was so bad that I had to go through weeks worth of psychiatric evaluations and eventual shock therapy just to get over what this episode did to me. I was too young to deal with something like this.
Well, I always knew you were a bit wrong in the head.
Yeah, I've been since I was a child, and this episode was the reason for that. No wonder I started my channel doing Ed, Edd, and Eddy. No wonder I started doing back-to-back negative reviews of Ed, Edd, and Eddy. It all goes back to what this episode did to me.
Say it, Jem. Say it. We all know you want to.
This is one of the worst cartoon episodes ever to air on Cartoon Network. I'm actually disgusted. How could they do this? How did they think any of these decisions were good ideas or would be enjoyable to their fan base? I mean, hell, at least Sorry Wrong Getting Your Ed here had moments I found humorous. At least If It Smells Like an Ed's Torture was masked with an attempt at a mystery story. What is there to praise about this episode? What's there to come back to? How can you justify a single one of these choices? This episode is horrendous. Wow. I actually feel better now. Like, so much better. Was that all I had to do? Just admit to myself that a show I loved made an episode so horrendous I consider it one of the worst Cartoon Network episodes ever? Well, Anti-Jem, I tip my hat to you. You not only found a bad episode of Ed, Edd, and Eddy, you found an episode of Ed, Edd, and Eddy that was so bad, it actually broke me.
Now you have to hold up your end of the bargain. You gotta admit that Ed, Edd, and Eddy is one of the worst shows ever made. Booyah!
I didn't agree to that.
Yes you did. You said if I found an episode of this show that is actually bad, like as bad as the 3 you had already reviewed, you'd admit that it's one of the worst shows ever. And I found one that's worse than all of them.
I said if you could find 5 episodes that were as bad as those 3, I'd admit that. You found 1.
But it's...
Yeah, I get it. It's the worst episode this show has ever made. It's one of the worst episodes a Cartoon Network show has ever made. But this show is still one of the greatest shows of all time. In fact, I think I've picked up on why you're the anti-version of me now. It's not because you know what a good show is. It's because you run on the mindset that if you talk negatively about an episode of a cartoon show you like, it automatically means you hate it. And that's by far one of the worst mindsets to have when you listen to someone critiquing something.
No, I refuse to believe that you still love this show after ripping it apart as much as you have. If you really like this show, then why would you hate so many of its episodes, huh?
I don't. I hate 4 episodes out of like 131 episodes this show's made. That hardly means I hate the show. Yet, I will admit, that seems to be a common thing people assume. Look, just because you consider a show one of your favorites does not mean you're never supposed to criticize it. In fact, if you're a true fan of a show, you of all people should criticize it because it means you followed the show so closely that you picked up on what makes it work and what makes it fail. And the same applies if you disagree with something negative someone says about it because you think they may have missed a point or two about the show. There's nothing wrong with defending an episode you like. That's what the beauty is of doing negative reviews in the first place. It opens up discussions and lets you view episodes in another way. And even if there is an episode, like this one here, that most can probably agree is a bad episode overall, that doesn't mean something beneficial can't come out of it. This episode, this pile of filth, this is the whole reason I started doing reviews in the first place. In fact, I take back what I said. There are good things to say about this episode. This episode was so bad that it actually made me reevaluate the episodes of the show I previously found terrible. Now when I look at episodes like this, I'm actually thankful they didn't get to the point this episode went to. Yeah, they had flaws, but at the end of the day, there's still that Ed, Edd, and Eddy charm to them. This doesn't feel anything like Ed, Edd, and Eddy. This episode makes me so happy this show ended when it did, because if it didn't, I shudder to think the kind of punchline it would be right now. Honestly, I'm glad I got to experience this episode again. I mean, if I hadn't, I wouldn't be able to understand why I was such a bitter-ass floating crystal head when I started this channel. Why I started this channel tearing into an episode that, honestly, might not have even been deserving of the amount of hate it got. And I definitely have to thank you for that, Anti-Jem. If you didn't challenge my views and force me to really look into the worst this show could do, I wouldn't be leaving here knowing now, more than ever, that this is a show that I could never bring myself to hate.
But
Damn! Didn't see that coming. I guess the shock of knowing she helped someone she didn't like was just too much for her. Well, don't worry guys, we're cartoon characters. I don't think that'll be the last we see of Anti-Jem. And I meant every word I said about this show. I mean, yeah, maybe it's not for everyone. Maybe people can't look past the rough animation style or the cruel characters, but with this show, there's always been a charm to it. In a way, it's hard for someone like me to look at these characters and not think of myself and my experiences with other people when I was their age. I mean, when I was a kid, I wasn't like Arnold from Hey Arnold, who's basically a very mature, very smart adult in a 9-year-old's body. I was a snot-nosed punk like Eddy. I was a naive dumbass at times like Ed. I enjoyed showing off my knowledge of anything I knew about like Double D. I was around kids I found odd because they had a different upbringing like Rolf. I was around older kids who were like Kevin that liked to break me down. I crushed on girls so far out of my league like the Eds do with Naz. I had friends with obnoxious little siblings like Sarah. I was around kids who acted so innocent they could get away with murder like Jimmy. I relate to a lot of these characters. I watch these characters and I think of my own childhood. I relate to how often the Eds use their imagination and creativity to get attention. I relate to their childlike innocence despite how over-the-top cartoony it can be. And the memories I have of this show have a charm to them that no other show will ever be able to capture. But I gotta say, I don't feel I've shown all this show has to offer just yet. I feel like I need to do one more review, like a big review, but what should it be? Wait, I know. Ladies and gentlemen, it's time for something new. It's time for my first animated movie review. Hey guys, Jem here. I just wanted to give a big thank you to JankyBones for joining me in these last 2 videos. It was a lot of fun working with her, and she did a great job voicing my character Anti-Jem. And for those of you who don't know and haven't seen the comments I pinned in my last video, she's the designer of my avatar and the designer of Anti-Jem, and she's got a really good YouTube channel where she does animations of Steven Universe. They're really entertaining, and I'd highly recommend checking them out. I'll be leaving her link in the description along with her Tumblr and Twitter if you guys want to check out some more of her artwork. And secondly, I hit 20,000 subscribers in the middle of making this video. So, as a result, I'm going to do the top 10 best SpongeBob specials list. But it's not going to be out for at least 3 more videos. I'm going to be doing my review of the Ed, Edd and Eddy movie, and then do part 1 of my seasonal review of The Amazing World of Gumball before I do that video, but rest assured, it will be out within the next few videos. Anyway, thank you all for watching, thank you all so much for 20,000 subscribers, and I'll see you in the next review.